with a video, of course, to speak to everyone about the importance of understanding healing. Who is God and who are you? In many instances, man, and this is just being 100%, healing is of those things, one of those things out of many that we need to truly understand for ourselves in order to elevate. And so it's like being in the realm of healing, right? When we enter into the realm of healing, one of the main things about entering into the realm of healing is that we have to be truly committed, okay? Truly committed to healing ourselves, to fixing situations, to evolving, because self-reflection is like becoming a mirror. When you self-reflect on yourself, you're becoming a mirror to the parts of yourself that you need to heal. And the same aspects as looking at projections, because we deal with a lot of projections on a day-to-day basis. On a day-to-day basis, we deal with so much projection that if you don't protect yourself from projections, then the projection itself is going to affect you. So one of the most important things in our spiritual journey, in our life journey, is being able to protect ourselves from projections, because that's going to be a very necessary step towards us healing ourselves. So becoming that mirror, how do you become that mirror? There are many people in this life that we are in now, that would take a look at you and they're only going to see themselves. That's it. They're going to see themselves. Not only do they see themselves, they see the unhealed version of themselves as they stare at you, as they look at you. They see the unhealed versions of themselves. Kind of interesting. Who is God, though? I mean, I had an interesting conversation with some people a few days ago. And one of the things that came up in that conversation was, I mentioned to that person, that God itself, the universe, and even the ancestral hierarchy, your ancestors, your bloodline ancestors, in which you are the highest expression of them all, God has to heal itself. To some, that might be a really harsh concept to conceive. How do we conceive the concept of God having to heal itself when we were taught and programmed that God is all beneficent and God is complete? The universe is complete. That's what many of us are taught, or the way that many of us understand it. But the universe is actually not complete, because the universe is expanding. You see? The universe is expanding, meaning it's growing, consistently recreating itself, so that the creator life force energy can manifest new realities from the old realities. And when this process is happening in the universe, this is actually God healing itself. Because God looks at the universe, looks at its creation, and says, okay, I created this. Now, I want to create something better. But remember, the universe is both the universe and its creation. God is both God and its creation. So we all are intricate aspects of the creator, you see? The mission to heal yourself, right, is actually how God heals itself. Don't let it go over your head. The mission to heal yourself is how God actually heals itself. I know many of us are not going to look at it like that. It's okay. It's okay. I have some notes written here. I'm going to read them to you. It says, we are all intricate aspects of God. The universe is one. It's just some people choose to access the lowest level of the God force energy. That's why the universe and everything in it must evolve. That is the process of God healing itself. When we refuse as humans and humanity, when we refuse to heal, we are actually denying the universe the ability to heal itself. And this is what creates hell. Hellish conditions, hellish situations, hellish mind states. Because when we refuse to heal, we're going against the law of the universe, which is to consistently recreate itself, to become greater. That's one of those concepts, to become greater. So people ask like, well, how does the universe become greater when it's already at its highest level of greatness? But guess what? Not even the universe, God itself, is at its, he or she, highest level of greatness. And God knows that. The universe knows that. It is not in its highest level of beauty and splendor. The universe and God knows it's not in its highest level of power. So in order to keep evolving, it has to heal itself. And this is the mirroring image of humans as to what we should be doing. We should be healing ourselves from traumatic situations. We should be healing ourselves from predicaments. We should be healing ourselves from our own selves. And we should be healing ourselves from anything that we allow to be projected upon us. You see? God itself, the universe, God, is the original ancestor. For many of us that walk the ancestral path and walk down the ancestral journey through various traditions and various paths, or whatever we call it, the creator life force is actually the oldest, the chief, and the most powerful ancestor. So when we say we call on God, the God force energy, what we're calling on is the most oldest ancestors. Many of us been taught, build your ancestral altar. Many of us been taught, give reverence to your ancestors. Many of us been taught, give sacrifices to your ancestors, so on and so forth. I'm not saying any of that is wrong at all. But what I am saying is that when we look at things at a deeper perspective, we are in contact with the oldest ancestor, the most powerful, the original ancestor, which is the God force itself. I'm not asking anyone to discontinue what they're doing. I'm just adding on to the plethora of information that you already have your hands on. Understand that when we make supplications, when we conjure, when we do these different things, when we pray, when we meditate, what exactly are we doing? What exactly are we tapping into? So let's look at this from a mathematical perspective. We can do supplications, we can tap into the energy from our ancestral bloodline, correct? Yes, we can. We can tap into the energies of our ancestral bloodline. We can call on the spiritual energy of our grandparents. We can call on the spiritual energy of our cousins and loved ones who loved us in this life that we knew. And so that love goes into the spirit realm also. So when we call on them, they're sharing that energy back with us for whatever purpose that we're doing, right? Correct. But when we call on the God force energy, And we also have to remember that that energy is in us. Like the code to the DNA code to every ancestor in your ancestral bloodline is encoded within you. That's why some people can have a baby, right? A couple can have a baby, and that baby don't look like him. The baby don't look like her. That baby look like somebody 3 generations ago. And they be like, man, this baby look like great granddaddy Harold. You know what I mean? And they come out looking like a spit image of him. But why? Because the DNA code, the genetic code for Grandpa Harold lives in everyone in your bloodline. So when that particular ancestral energy chooses to remanifest itself, and which some of us call reincarnation, when it chooses to remanifest itself, it's going to manifest itself in the form of this new baby that came into your family. You see? So, but when we tap into the God force energy, that God force energy is in us, encoded in our DNA, and encoded in universal energy that dwells in us. You see? Now here's the plot twist. We know that, right? Now let's go back to what I was saying. I said we are all part of God. The universe is one. It's just some people choose to access the lowest levels of God force energy. See, low level vibrations is actually God force energy also. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. But that's the energy that God itself, the universe, is evolving from and has evolved from. This is why low level energy exists. You see, the reason low level energy exists, low vibrational energy exists, is because that is the remnant, the old aspect of God, because God is still creating and recreating itself, but the old versions of that God force energy still exists in the universe. And what God does is he uses that, or it uses that old energy of its old self and merges itself into a higher level version. You see? Important to understand. That's why when we as humans, when we fail to evolve, we end up trapping and getting stuck in the older versions of ourselves. This is why so many spiritual teachers teach that you must evolve. When you wake up tomorrow, you're not who you were today. You see? You are not who you were yesterday. You're just simply not that. So you have to evolve. And this is the purpose of evolution. This is the purpose of development. But we never want to place ourselves in a position to deny the universe its right to evolve. So anytime we don't work on our own healing, right? Anytime we don't work on our own healing, all we're doing is stopping, going against the natural processes that the universe has set forth for it to expand and grow. Then we become stuck in this phase. And if we become stuck in a specific phase, what happens is the evolved energies is going to consume the older aspects and force it into something new. Because God has to evolve. And this is the reason why certain things happen in low vibrational energies. Certain things happen in low vibrational environments. Let's look at our communities for a moment. We all kind of put out the image and we say, that there are many environments that we may have came from. If you came from the projects or you came from poverty, those things are low vibrational environments. Those places are low vibrational environments. And so when we evolve from the low vibrational environments, of course, we get better, right? You want to do better for yourself. That is the principle I'm speaking on evolving from the old into the new. That's the principle there. So those old environments tend to have the energy of destroying itself. And we see this often. People that vibrate in low vibrations, what is the number one thing they do? They fight with each other. That's it. Low vibrational environment seeks to destroy itself. That is the power of God, the power of the universe saying, no, I no longer want this version of myself to continue to exist. I no longer want the version of who I am to continue to exist. So what it does is it destroys itself. And this is why low vibrational environments are destructive. Because that's the hand of God saying, I'm going to destroy this energy because we have free will. So even though we are in low vibrational environments, we have the free will to evolve. This is the trick that God has bestowed on us. The trick of free will. The free will is really a trickster. It's a trickster spirit. Free will is a trickster spirit because we're going to be placed in multiple environments. And within each environment, there is a challenge to grow. You see? In each environment, there is a challenge to get better. Even in the highest level, like you see millionaires and people who are wealthy, they create this wonderful world. They create this beautiful environment for themselves, beautiful life for themselves. But even there, still have to grow. Because the real growth doesn't happen monetarily. The real growth happens internally. You see? So with that being said, the hand of God often, and this is why we see, I know like many of us don't like hearing this kind of speaking, but this is the reason why so much drama and trauma happens in our communities. The reason this happens in our communities is that it's God recreating itself. Because not even the universe, not even the God force energy wants to dwell in a lower vibration. So it destroys the lower vibration and recreates it into higher vibrational beings. That's why we all have the idea of getting rid of traumas, getting rid of triggers, kind of battling with ourselves. But then with the art of projection, we have to be very careful. Because sometimes people can look at you and see their own trauma, reflection. And some of us has become, especially as empaths, we become mirrors to other people's imperfections. Because when people look at you as an empath, they see the healed version of you, and then they see the unhealed version of you. You see? And so trauma bonding is part of the process where people will attach themselves to specific versions of you. They will. It's okay. You just have to learn how to remove yourself from those people, and you have to learn how to remove yourself from those environments. Because people will trauma bond with the part of you that you're healing. And this is one of the things people say, you attract who you are. No. You don't necessarily attract who you are. You attract, for the most part, what you're healing. Because the challenge is, when you're in a process of healing yourself, of fixing that energy within, when you're in the process of doing it, it's an actual act of energy transference. You're trying to transfer lower vibrational energy into higher. So when you're trying to fix yourself, you become the ultimate magnet for the energies that you're trying to fix. You see? You ever heard the story where like people say, well, they're an alcoholic, right? People are alcoholics. So when they start to go within and fight that battle of alcoholism, what normally happens? A friend knocks at the door. Hey man, come on, let's get a drink. And you're like, man, I'm in there like praying and talking to myself, you know, and trying to figure it out for me that I'm not going to drink alcohol anymore. I'm not going to be a drunk, you know? And what obviously ends up happening is you attract that energy to you. And you're sitting there wondering why, when I'm sitting there just thinking about this flaw or this aspect of myself that I'm trying to heal, I'm working it out, there goes a knock at the door with somebody with a bottle of liquor who wants to drink your alcoholic buddy or friend or whatnot. You wonder why it happened like that. That's no coincidence. Because the moment you attempt to heal a particular part of yourself, what happens is you externally attract representations of that energy coming to you. And you're wondering, what is going on? Why is this taking place? It's you. Because as you attempt to go within and fix things, you're creating a very large vibration. So when you begin to heal parts of yourself, be on notice that you are going to attract everything that part of yourself you're trying to heal, you're going to attract those things directly to you. That's part of the process of healing. It happens. The moment you work within yourself to discontinue something, the moment you work on yourself to discontinue a specific energy, attitude, behavior, thought within yourself, you start to attract it even more. And it's okay. The key is understanding that it's a challenge that you have to take on. You have to say no. You got to say no. Because you saying no is how you heal. And then you turn that no into a consistent no. And then you turn that no into a perpetual no. And then you turn that no into an ultimate no. Then you reprogram your spirit, your mind, with all the repetitious competitive no's, repetitious no's. You reprogram your mind, you reprogram your spirit to always say no at this point. You know, scientists say the thing about the human brain is that if you do something repetitiously for 21 days straight, it sparks a permanent programming in your brain. Let's use that scientific knowledge in the realm of healing. When you competitively, consistently say no, 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 you're programming yourself. That's why you got to keep up the energy. You got to keep it up within and without. Because the more you work on yourself, the more you do it. The more you work on yourself, the more you're going to attract physical representations, people, situations, and places. You're going to attract it more and more and more. And everything that you begin to attract is going to be a reflection of the work you're doing internally. And this is why people have setbacks. Because when that energy starts, when you go within and start to heal yourself from this particular flaw, when you go within and begin to heal yourself from this particular way of thinking, when you go within and begin to heal yourself from this particular behavior, you begin to attract everything that is going to try and attempt to stop it. on the external. You see, on the external, on the outside, you're going to attract it to you. What that really is a sign that you're doing something right. Because if you go to remove a flaw, a characteristic defect, a personality defect, if you go to remove it and you're not attracting it, you ain't working hard enough. It's the real shadow work there. But the moment you start working on something and then you look up, everything around you is a reflection of something that you're working on inside. You ain't told nobody nothing. You're just doing it internally, and you begin to attract this. Like the same people that represent that energy, the situations that represent that, you are attracting it more and more. That's when you know you're doing something right. That's when you know that you're actively working in the right direction on your shadow healing, your shadow work, or your self-healing and self-development. You know you're moving right, because that process that you're going through within is really projecting. It's projecting out, because that energy of that thought, behavior, or that process or flaw, that energy, you have to release it, right? Remember, energy is magnetic. So once you release that emotional energy, once you release that mental energy, once you release the physical things that attached you to it, it's going to attach itself to things in your environment. Once it attaches itself, once the energy that you release from your work, your shadow work, the work that's done within, once you release it, it goes out into your environment and it attaches itself to those that are committed to not healing. Because a commitment, right? When you commit to not healing, everybody that is committed to healing, that expels that energy from their body, they're going to receive your energy. The people around you, they're not working on healing and you working on healing, and you expel, you reject, you project that energy outside of you. The moment you reject that energy outside of you, say, okay, I'm done with this living in my body. I'm done with this living in my spirit. The moment you reject that energy and push it out of you, it goes and attaches itself to beacons of darkness. It goes and attaches itself to people who are unhealed and committed to staying unhealed. Unhealed energy attracts unhealed energy. So for people that are working on their healing, remember, the moment you heal yourself, when you begin to heal yourself, when you attempt to heal yourself, you're going to project that energy out. And be mindful, keep a look. It's going to attach itself to people around you who are not healing themselves, who are not working on the same level of spiritual healing that you are. It's going to attach itself to them. But guess what they're going to do? They're going to try to come back to you energetically, some cases physically. They're going to come back to you to pour that energy right back on you. So you have to be careful. This is why when you embark on a journey of healing, you have to remove yourself. It's like you got to let that energy go and run. You know what I mean? You got to let the energy go and get out of there. Because it's going to try to come back to you in many different forms of fashion. Loved ones, family, friends, environments. So you have to learn how to project that energy out when you're doing your healing and not allow it back in. And this is why when you work to heal, you have to change your mind. You got to change your mind. It's mandatory that you change your mind. Mandatory. You have to get rid of the perceptions. Like somebody called me the other day, right? And we were talking about removing generational curses, right? and we were talking about culture and how culture is one of the main proponents for the perpetuation of energy, right? We love our culture, we all do. But there's many things in our culture that is written in stone, that is engraved and programmed in our minds and in our spirits that are really not good for us. But we won't address it because we say, well, this is our culture. This is who we are as a group. As a group. You know, culture comes from the word cult. Okay? And so when we look at the word cult, what do we think about? What do we think about when we look at the word cult? Well, we think it's a group of people gathered together as a collective mind. They all pretty much everybody in this cult thinks the same, correct? Okay. If everybody in a particular cult thinks the same, then where's the individual spirit? It means the individual spirit is consumed by the mindset or mind state of the whole. In some ways, it can be progressive. In some ways, it can't. Because joining a cult takes away from you cultivating yourself. You see, the moment you join a cult, it takes away from your energy, from your process of cultivating you as an individual spirit in this world. So from cult, we got culture. What is culture? Culture is a collective group of beliefs and thoughts, philosophies, acts, behaviors, personalities that is adopted by a collective group of people. And it becomes a culture. You got white culture, you got black culture, you got Asian culture, Hispanic culture. Everybody has a culture. Collective groups of ideas that's formulated and practiced by the group as a whole. You know, that's why they have the saying that, okay, he's acting black, he's acting white, or you act like you're Asian, or you act like this, because every cult or culture has a specific energy frequency. So when you start to develop frequencies in your body outside of the collective frequency of the culture, it would be recognizable. It would be recognizable. Absolutely it will. By those that live in the frequency of the culture. So that's why it's important to understand the power of cults, the power of culture, how it could really be a hindrance to your own spiritual development as an individual spirit. Because if you keep accepting beliefs, accepting philosophies, accepting principles that is believed by the collective, what happens is it takes away from your ability to be an independent thinker, your ability to vibrate your own individual frequency. You see, these groups are man-made. So now let's look at the ancestors, right? As we know them, they are minor aspects, right? They are minor aspects of God, just like me, you, and everybody else. We're minor aspects of the creative force, correct? Yeah, we are minor aspects. And so we seek their assistance, which we do, and we are the highest expression of the process because we live in this realm and we live in the spirit realm at the same time. Yeah, of course. One thing I want to talk about, but the nature of God, right, is because, we live in a very discriminatory environment on this planet. And because this planet is discriminatory with human thinking, of course, we lose traction on what God really is. What's the God force? what is this creator universe energy really is. Because we put everything in boxes, male, female, up, down, left, right, blue, red, yellow, green, orange. We put everything in a box. But the true reality about the creator life force is it is androgynous. I hope I pronounced that word correctly. Androgynous, meaning that the creator life force is everything, but we as humans, we formulate perceptions and conceptions that put us at odds with each other. We divide ourselves in communities and call them tribes. No, you'll find your tribe, and that's no disregard to that perception. I'm just trying to enlighten on the fact that the whole planet is a tribe. And in that being said, everything is an aspect of God, and God is all these things. I know in the bacteria kingdom, right? For example, the bacteria in the animal kingdom, there is asexual bacterias, germs, bacteria, whatever you call them. There is bisexual germs, or whatever we call them, bacterias or whatever. I'm on a microscopic level. There is like self-producing, what they call hermaphroditic energies that exist in the elemental kingdoms. All of these are aspects of God. So when you see these aspects manifesting itself on a physical plane, right? We're programmed by culture. There it goes. Now let's go back to culture. We're programmed by culture to disregard what we don't like. It's not the fact that you don't like it, it's the fact that you don't know what it is. Because you've been too busy living within your own reality that you don't have the vision to see the realities and existences of other aspects of God. And that has become the problem with the planet. The planet is very discriminatory. And because the planet is discriminatory, it goes to war with itself. If the Christians don't like the Muslims, they fight for who will have all the control, who will have all the power. Over what? Over people's thinking. Because everybody wants people to be like them. And for those people that move around the planet Earth, that choose to force or attempt to force people to be like them by large, massive propagations, all of that energy is all projections, right? They're depleting their whole life force energy by trying to persuade others to be like them. Christians persuade people to become Christian. Muslims persuade people to become Muslims. African religions and the various different African religions, people try to persuade or get you to be this or get you to be that. In all religions, they do that. They try to transform you into who they are, because that is the only thing that they understand. That is a limited mind state, a very limited mind state. So when we learn to understand who or what God really is, the androgynous being, the being that's made of both male and female principle, we understand that those energies exist in us. Now we can cover it up, we can duck and, no, I'm this, I'm that, I'm all of the above, I'm whatever. But the reality is all of the energies that exists in the universe, it exists in us. Suppressing it will not make it go away. Ignoring it will not make it go away. Definitely won't. Because God is the all. And it is going to manifest itself on various levels, right in your face. I read a post that said, God is a comedian. Hilarious. The God force energy would take somebody that's a nobody and make them somebody in front of everybody without asking nobody. I agree. I agree. I respectfully agree with that. Because the creator life force has to expand itself, and it chooses which vessels it uses for whatever particular purpose it uses it for. Now, empaths are the mirrors of humanity. There's a lot of empathic people in the world, of course. We all have intuition. We all can have the ability to be empathetic, empathic, or whatnot. Correct word for it. That means having compassion or feeling the energy. Some of us are better energy readers than others. And in this society, the culture we live in, it teaches us this person is sensitive. Sensitive to what? They never tell you. They're just, oh, you sensitive. She's sensitive. He's sensitive. They're sensitive. But they never tell you to what? Because they don't even know. There's a lot of unhealed energies with great philosophies. It happens. Or energies not committed to healing themselves. Most of them have the greatest philosophies. And so back to that commitment, being committed. When we commit to something, we are attaching our energy to that energy field. Now, that's a low vibrational thing we're committing ourselves to, then that's that. It's low vibration. Once we commit to it, we allow that energy to host our body. So we have to watch commitments. People get married, they have commitments. And so when people get married, it's like you make a commitment. Now, we humans, we ain't the best. We fall short of the glory of God, don't we? Yeah, we sure do. And we make a commitment during a marriage, or you might be committed to your life goals, or you might be committed to being unhealed. There are many different things that we could commit ourselves to, but commitment itself is an energy. And if we don't commit ourselves internally to that thing or situation that we say we're committing to, what ended up happening is everything goes astray. Everything goes astray. You see? So like when people say, well, they're committed in a marriage and then they go cheat or whatnot, that means that commitment is not there. If someone say, well, I'm in a committed relationship and they go mess around or whatnot, that means that commitment is not there. If someone say, well, I'm committed to loyalty, I'm committed to you, I'm loyal to you, and you see acts of betrayal, that means that commitment is not taken seriously. It's just a commitment in word and not in deed. We all humans. That's why we go through processes. Something that can't just change overnight. You have to learn how to cut cords with certain things. But we also need to learn if we truly love and are committed to what we're saying we're committed to, it's very important that we hold ourselves accountable and make things better. One thing about me, and that accountability word itself is one of those words that has been slung around recklessly, in my opinion. And it seems to be rolling off the lips of everyone. And sometimes people don't understand what true accountability is. Accountability is not one-sided. And I know in relationships, we often experience accountability. Like, man, we just got to be accountable. Okay, blah, blah, blah. In most cases, now there are a lot, and I repeat, there are a lot of accountable women on this planet. Yes, they are. In every race, there is a lot of accountable people, both men and women. But there are a lot of unaccountable men, and there are a lot of unaccountable women. And in unions through culture teaches, and one thing about Black culture teaches, and what we're dealing with in essence is that men going to be accountable. I saw that situation with the coach from Boston Celtics, right? And they were talking about the young lady Malika, who was the broadcaster over one of the sports channel, and she was just all out against him, like not even looking at the accountability that was there. He had an affair with someone who was part of the team, staff or whatnot, and it's like she just totally overlooked it and just wanted to hold him accountable, but then wanted to hold the young lady accountable. The young lady who openly committed herself to adultery along with him. He became the spectacle of accountability. He became the spectacle. Coach, he has an African name, Odu Emeka or something like that, from Boston Celtics. But he became the only level of accountability to the situation. This is what our culture is teaching. Men, black men, you need to be accountable. Black men, you need to be accountable. Yes, we do. We understand it. We truly, really do. But there has to be a level of accountability for women also. It's not one-sided. In order to heal the group collective, how could you heal the collective with one-sided accountability? That's like saying, we over here can do what we want to do, say what we want to say, behave like how we want to behave, but you're only accountable. We are not. That's a form of entitlement. You know? Yeah, the DSM-5 have some things to say about that. You know, I'm not a psychology major. I only can tell you from my own life experiences. But the one-sided accountability inside Black culture is incredibly weird. Not only is it weird, it creates very bad situations. It allows certain individuals to be able to get away with things and take situations to wherever they want to take it at, do whatever they want to do, and never be accountable for it because you're the one that has to be accountable as a man. That puts a target on every Black man's back. So not only are we fighting the Ku Klux gang, the Ku Klux Klan, the Ku Klux gang, stereotypes in society, we also have to fight our own mothers. We also have to fight our own sisters who are programmed with this mentality. We also have to fight our own wives who are programmed with that mentality. We also have to fight our own girlfriends who are programmed with that mentality. It's an unhealed mentality. And it's perpetuated by our culture. And if you say anything about it, off with your head. And we look at other races, like people look at interracial mixing and stuff like that. Me personally, and I'll give it to you raw, I'm very transparent. Me personally, love, attention, commitment, loyalty, honesty, and the process of building is a universal energy. Doesn't matter the green, yellow, orange, or purple. It's a universal energy. If somebody comes to you, you meet someone, no matter what race or creed, if their energy makes you feel great, if their energy is loving towards you, if their energy is honest to you, if their energy is loyal to you, and you feel great vibrations coming from them, go for it. Because no one is responsible for your happiness but you. Now, there are many of us that have our preference on what we want in our life personally. I commend you guys also. You see? So that accountability, if we're going to build as a humanity, right? As humanity, we're going to build. As individuals, we're going to build. We got to be able to hold ourselves accountable, right? Exactly. Some accountability can happen in private and should happen in private. You see? And some others, It happens in public. Yeah, it happens. Okay. It happens. And then it allows, by not everyone, by both the male and the female figure being both equally accountable, what ends up happening is it becomes a power struggle now. Because the woman will feel as if they're more powerful than the men, and the men are going to feel ostracized. And this is what creates the conflicts. That's why when you look on social media a lot, all you see is male and female fighting in the Black community. You see a lot of fighting because there's no equal level of accountability amongst us. You know what I mean? There's no equal level of accountability. Once we restore that balance and put equal level of accountability and start adulting, like we sit down and we start talking about what's really happening between us. You know, you have a problem with your girlfriend, or for the guys, you have a problem, you know, with your girlfriend, or for the woman, you have a problem with your boyfriend or whatnot. You have to learn how to discuss it. Openly discuss it. Not blame shift. You wrong, no, you wrong, you wrong, you wrong. That's conflictive, combative energy, isn't it? And then it turns into something else because the foundation to actually healing the situation is not there because you enter it imbalanced. But every man knows you got to be accountable. We understand that. But women have to be accountable too. That's very important. Because we love you. We want you to be accountable. And being accountable don't mean you won't be forgiven. Being accountable only means you acknowledge it. And that's what we are. That's where we are. But now, trying to hold yourself accountable to people or a person that's unaccountable becomes a problem. You can hold yourself accountable to someone, and then they'll turn around and that's all they want, you to be accountable, and they continue doing the same thing they've been doing. They do it. And then you say, hey, what about your accountability, yo? Like we ain't gonna share this thing? No, you know, and we get a lot of real man. You know, people say, well, this is a real man. This is what a real man do. How can someone who's struggling with their own accountability tell someone else this is what a real man does? It's weird. It really is. Same way somebody who's unaccountable for themselves tell a woman, a real woman is this, real woman is that. Okay, but how do you know what is a real man? How do you know what is a real woman when you ain't real with yourself? Weird. It's odd, but that's the kind of paradigm that we live in. And true healing is understanding that God is balance. And as God works to create a life force, works to balance itself, it needs everything to be on the same accord. And when everything is not in the same accord, it won't be any balance. It's only going to be continuous chaos, conflict amongst the genders, amongst the races, and everything. You know, a brother told me the other day, right? No, a sister told me the other day. She said that the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, right? I know I mentioned something about it earlier, but she said the Ku Klux Klan, you know why they retired? You know why they are not walking around with sheets over their head anymore? It's not because they're in a courtroom. It's not because most of them, the police officers, it's not because of that. It's because they look at us and say, well, God damn, they doing our job better than us. I quit. It was a joke. It was funny, but it's true. They said, man, we quit. We can't talk what they're doing. We can't talk what they're doing. They're killing each other better than us. They're doing it way better than us. So the only thing we got to do now is sit back and watch the show. You don't find that weird? don't find that weird? Yeah. Oh, okay, so we're going to pretend again. We're going to pretend like we don't find that weird. The Ku Klux Klan say that they quit. I'm out of here. I don't need no white sheep. Nobody quit, man. The people love, they used to love their job, actually. But when we started doing their job better than them, they quit. But them boys turning their pinks with, man, we out here, man. I don't want to work here no more. Y'all done mess around and got somebody on this planet can do it better than us. So they left. They went and going to do the other things now. Grand Dragon don't make no money no more. None. And that's real. The Grand Dragon don't make no money no more. He don't even get no attention. Remember one time back in the days before the Madden started, the Grand Dragon used to get all attention, be all on the news, they marching, they carrying on, yeah, because that's when it was relevant. But we made the KKK irrelevant. We ran the Ku Klux Klan out of business for the Ku Klux Gang. That's a shame, but it's true. Know why? Because there are too many of us who are committed to never healing. Never healing. I didn't say not healing, never healing. They're committed. And once you commit to not doing that, you tie yourself into low vibrational energies. You're going to do low vibrational things, and the low vibration is going to become your existence. But remember now, God has to heal itself. You are a part of God. So when you commit yourself to the old version of God, where God recreates itself, he's going to destroy you and use that energy to create itself into something better. Know why? Because you ain't doing it. That's where free will comes in. Free will comes in when you decide to say, okay, God, I see you elevating the universe. I see you expanding. I see you're becoming more beautiful. You're becoming better than the God of yesterday. So I want to fall in alignment with your process. When you see God expanding and growing and getting better and recreating itself better, you have to fall in alignment with that energy and say, I'm going to do the same thing. That's how people live long. You see, to fulfill our destiny by becoming greater versions of ourselves. But when you refuse and commit to specific cultural ways of thinking, when you commit to specific cultural ways of behaving, and we all have flaws, we all got them. The issue is, don't commit yourself to them, fight them. The fight ain't outside of you. The fight is inside of you. And like I told you earlier, once you start working on that thing that's within, remember, you're going to attract representations of it. Because once you project that bad energy out of you, once you project that bad thought, when you change your mind, changing your mind, you're not just changing it here. The moment you change your mind, you have to kick something out of it. You have to reprogram that energy. When you reprogram that energy, the previous energy doesn't exist in your mind no more. It doesn't exist there. Why? Because you projected it outside of your body because you don't want that energy in your body anymore. And the issue becomes, like I said earlier, once you project that energy outside of your body, that energy attaches itself to something that's unhealed outside of you. That's why when we have those family members and friends and loved ones around us who are committed to not healing, they end up fighting with one another. So the person that's working on the healing, you projecting all this stuff out, you in your room, projecting it all out, getting it out of your body, and it's attaching yourself to your cousin, your brother, your sister, your uncle, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. And they come right back in the room ready to argue with you. See? Because that's how energy travels. This is why I recommend when you expel energies and do your self-work and you expel these things out of you, put it out in nature. Put it out in nature. Because if you sit at home with everybody else and you radiate that energy out, it's going to lock and load on the first person that's unhealed. And then they're going to try to give it back to you. And then you're going to give it back to them. They're going to give it back to you. It's going to be a back and forth. Dang. You see? You have to truly realize how to cut that cord. Cut the cord. Plug one side in the wall and tie it on the doorknob. Electrify the door so that no one gets in when you work on your healing. You see? Simple. You know, you don't want to let that energy back in. Once you put that energy out, you don't let it back. No. So, the healing and commitment, remember about being committed. We got to be very careful what we commit to and move forward in life. You know, I wrote some more notes. No one is perfect, I said. And per. The word perfect, you got the word per. Per what? Per son. Per sound. We look at the word person, and let's look at the word perfect. Effect, to create an effect, like the word effect, to create a motion. So when we say we are making something perfect, it's really, we're saying perfect, per that change. So being perfect or saying that, oh, he think he perfect or she thinks she perfect, that don't mean like you're ultimate. Per change. That means you're changing. When people say you're perfect, that means you're doing something right because they don't see what they used to see. They're seeing something different now. They're seeing something they don't understand now. So you're not perfect according to what culture teaches you. Mr. Perfect, Miss Perfect, this person thinks they're perfect, all that, whatever. No, that's not that. Perfect means per the change. You know, the per is like the word attention. Hey, this thing here changed. Attention, this thing here is effecting itself, effectually creating a new energy field. So you no longer recognize it, so you got to say that it's perfect now, or it thinks it's perfect. No, it's not. It's just tapping into a different energy field. But in our culture, this person thinks they're perfect. No, we still change. Effect means to effect something, to have an influence on it, to change it. Just like the word per son means per sound. Because we are vibrational beings and our bodies does create a sound wave. If you do some research, right, there's a place called the HeartMath Institute. With the HeartMath Institute, they speak about the energy of the heart. When your heart beats, it creates a vibration. But the vibration of the heart is a sound wave. That's why when you go to the doctor, you say, well, you know, use the stethoscope. And he said, let me listen to your heart. And he listens. He's listening for the sound of your vibrational heartbeat. He's watching his watch. He's counting. Okay. You have 60 beats a moment, 65 beats a moment. They all know the math on it. Okay, this is a regular heartbeat. A regular heartbeat, but it's really a vibration. Now, with the HeartMath Institute, they use equipment, medical equipment and scientific equipment, so that when your heart beats, it measures the length of the radiation of it, the length of the radiation. And they discovered that when your heart beats, it projects about 5 feet from your body, which is part of the reason why when you use your heart to feel things, your heart can feel it before you can see it. Because the heart vibration extends out of the body. And if you're in tune with the heart energy, and what some people call the heart chakra, if you're in tune with the heart energy, you can feel intuitively The vibrations of other hearts surround you. Oh, they can put a mask on and all that all they want to. Doesn't matter. They can pretend all they want to. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because the heart energy is what you're reading. It is what it is. The heart energy is exactly what you're reading. You see? People talk about the third eye. It's not that. Sorry. I mean, from my opinion, it's not that. You know what I mean? It's not that from my opinion. My opinion is that the heart radiates itself outside with the physical. The heart is the only organ inside your body that beats, that creates a vibration. So the heart has the strongest vibration. It goes outside of your body. Like I said, if you're in tune with its energy, you can feel it extends a wave, a sound wave of energy, sound waves flow of energy right in your environment. And by using your heart, you can feel what's happening without knowing. You can feel it. And you can read other hearts. And you can read what other people, other beings have within their heart. Very important to understand. Now, you can project energy out your mind and all of that. That's a different process. So we got two levels of superpower here. The mind is one level of superpower, but the most underrated level of superpower is the power of the heart, because it actually does this. And it extends science. Scientists, they all say that it extends 3 to 5 feet from your body. And for those that are more in tune with their heart and what they're feeling inside, the sensitive stuff, the more in tune you are, the higher the vibrations you can feel, the lower the vibrations you can feel, and the range of the energy can extend way out there. You can feel a person's heart through a phone call. You see? That's deep. You can feel a person's heart through a phone call. And I'm going to leave that right there. But in closing, this is Medicine Man. And I enjoy the viewers that looked at this video today. Like, share, subscribe to Godcraft TV. We will be doing a lot of great things coming up in 2023. So I want everybody to be at peace and understand that we all are in the process of growing. We all are in the process of knowing, and we all are in the process of expansion. Just like the universe grows, we grow. Just like God heals itself with its new creation, we are aspects of God, and we healing ourselves too. Level up. Peace.